What's something you regretted doing in the moment, but ended up improving your life? Joining Reddit and calling myself Dick Nipples. X wanted to get back together. I declined out of pride but secretly regretted it. Long term it was definitely for the best. We weren't good for each other, and as much as I want to imagine that I turned her down because I was mature enough to make the healthy decision, it's just not true. I 100% made the right decision for the wrong reasons. My high school bestie had a crush on the same guy as me. She shared the crush first, so I just pretended I didn't have one to avoid any drama. They ended up together and yeah, bullet dodged. Big time. Not going to college. Thought I had made a huge mistake after I got a trade job and realized how much hard work it was. But the owner was a good guy and basically became a mentor to me. I grew as an employee and as a person. Now I have my own business and make more than I would with just a degree. Your life isn't over if you didn't go to college, even if it might feel that way right now. And your education is never really over. Pretty much every trip to the gym. Walking away from being a guide at a wilderness recovery camp in NC. I loved that job. I got to use my own sobriety to help others towards theirs in the mountains. I loved my clients, and I was one of the crowd favorites. 16 hours a day for 7 days in a row while making minimum wage was tough, but it was the fact management made fuck you money while not doing a thing other than showing face once every few shifts made up my mind. Turns out other outfits I was recruited by were pretty abusive towards the clients. With everything happening with them, I'm so glad I walked away. God bless those kids and their families. There are plenty of people who care, but so many more just want your insurance money. Drop the mindset that anyone is better than anyone else. We're all products of very different nurture. Forget everything and just do it to death from that point on. Life seems to go by fucking Murphy's Law a lot of the time, and it only responds to non-observation. So with the one thing you will ever really know at a God level, yourself, ya gotta cut the dead weight there is in observing responding to heavy shit. It's like living an extra 50 years. The mind is a gift that is underutilized because of shame. No one can hear you, no one can judge you. I snapped one day and decided I had to use this private, sacred space to its full potential and talk through my emotions with myself. Viciously and ecstatically. In the beginning would often regret because processing is pretty fucked up a lot of the time. But I have this constant space of peace now that I never could have imagined. Really did change my life. Getting a job at Home Depot. For some reason I thought the people that stock the shelves were different from the ones that deal with customers, and they are to an extent. Freight team, but I applied for the aisle associate position in the plumbing department. I ended up being a flooring associate, and when people see an orange apron, they come to ask questions. I wouldn't change it for the world though, because the 1.5 years I spent there changed me for the better. After the lockdowns I was very closed off and hated talking to people. I had only one friend left and he was out of state serving in the Marines. But once I got a bit more comfortable through talking to customers and the camaraderie between associates, I opened up a lot. I can now confidently say I have a friend group and I am much more social with strangers and friends alike. Dropping my ex-best friend, at first I was regretting it and I had almost gone back to her, but I eventually realized over time she wasn't a good person who disregarded me and my feelings. We haven't been friends for about 4 months now and I'm happier than I ever was being her friend. I finally feel free and like I have control over my own life. The first morning in basic training, it was chaos and I remember thinking, WTF am I doing here? Turned out to be the best decision I ever made. Adopting my dogs. Took in a pregnant stray and had international adopter lined up for her and one pup they couldn't get adopted locally. Had to take care of them a few months until they were both clear to fly. When the time came I couldn't bear to send them. Cancelled adoption. Thought I was being weak and unrealistic and maybe doing them a disservice by not sending them. I was mistaken. 2 years in and they are happy. I am happy. We are happy. One of them is sleeping on my leg while I type this. Filing for divorce. Work. Going back to school at 30. Felt conspicuously old, worried I wouldn't be able to handle it intellectually, wasn't sure how to make friends with Gen Zers. Also had to disrupt my life and cut down my working hours drastically. But now I'm making over twice as much as I used to make, with the potential to make a lot more than I would ever have been able to. It wasn't at the moment I guess, but I sure did regret when I found out I was going to be a teenage dad. 30 years later things are pretty great though, leaving my wife, love of my life. I will always love her, and she gave me so much, but people grow up apart. It's better to be alone and happy, than in a relationship where she doesn't love you. Military service. Setting up a workout routine. I was unemployed for 2 years. I finally got a job as over-the-phone customer service, inbound calls only, thank goodness, and made it through the entire training period easily. Then I had my first day actually on the phones and it was fucking awful. For my own mental health I had to quit and I was so terrified to do it because I went so long without a job. A few weeks after I quit, I landed a full-time job in my dream industry. In the next year or two I should be promoted into my dream job. If I didn't quit that shithole I never would have gotten where I am now. I don't know if I was regretting it right in the moment, but ending a few friendships recently was very difficult. The immaturity and destructive behaviors they have really were limiting my personal growth. It basically turned into anytime someone got hurt in the group, my friends got relentlessly cruel and spiteful toward whoever was harming them. I have had a difficult time with boundaries my whole life, but learning of the asshole things they were doing behind my back to people for years that I felt didn't deserve it really upset me. Blocked, deleted, and working on moving on. I am glad for the experience only because it will help me to be more selective of the people I keep in my life moving forward, but I am sad about the destruction they caused for me. I won't claim to be a saint, and I know I can get caught up in petty feelings, but attacking a person's character and being just a total asshole just to be mean doesn't align with my values.